Sometimes my leg twitches because I have what some people would call ADD, and so my energy has to come out somewhere. So just ignore the leg twitch. But it's really hard for me to sit still.
I don't think they can honestly see. Well, actually, probably what they see is this just shaking.
Are you talking about my bowl full of jelly?
No, I'm talking about your pectoral muscles.
Once upon a time.
Give me a chance. Yeah, baby, try. Just one more night. Then make up your mind.
Hi, welcome to the Christian and Tiffany channel. Today we're going to be talking about 5 survival tips. So we've been getting into whole parenting and
you're talking
marriage.
about like camping, like you're lost in the woods survival tips?
Oh no, honey. No. Not those kind of survival tips. Survival tips for parents with kids.
Parenting survival, because it is hazardous out there.
Absolutely. And if you haven't, go ahead and subscribe to our channel, ring the bell for notifications, and you'll get our latest content. We've covered the Enneagram, the marriage kind of series, fighting in marriage, and all that kind of stuff. Now we're getting into the whole parenting and kids. So stay tuned.
Our beloved children.
Yeah, we've got videos coming out every Tuesday. So there's our plug.
There's our plug.
They say you're supposed to give a plug in YouTube.
Subscribe.
So we're giving
and turn on notifications so that you'll get a notification every time we put a new video out there.
Yeah, leave a little comment. So,
okay.
Number 1.
5 parenting survival tips from our experience of almost 13 years of parenting. We have 5 children. I guess technically we only have 3 years of experience parenting 5 children. And then we have like 5 years of experience parenting 4 children. Anyway, we have 13 years of child rearing experience.
But working with kids for 20 years. 23 years.
Children's, youth stuff, kids stuff, church, kids stuff, kids.
Hit it up, number 1.
How to survive, goodness, y'all. Whether you have one child who is extremely demanding and like you have to play Barbies with them, they can't play by themselves, to 2 children, which, you know, they play together, but they also fight.
A lot.
Fighting children. Or families with multiple children where you just have so many children that it's hard to be consistent with any of them.
Or whether one kid's so crazy that you might as well have 12 kids in that one kid.
That wild child kind of takes the place of 3 extra children.
Yeah.
Or if you have a blended family, if you've got some step kids in the mix, if you've got adopted children, if you've got a dog that's like a child, you need some tips to survive, right?
Yeah.
So parents, these 5 tips are for you. You're welcome. Number 1.
Number 1, date night swaps. You got to have them date night swaps.
Date nights. Now, listen, if you're rolling in the dough and you're like, oh, I can just pay a sitter and I can go blow $150 on a date and we can do it every week and it's in the budget, then by all means, if you're not doing it, shame on you. Do it. Spend that time. Get away from your kids and remind yourself of why you had these kids to begin with. Remind yourself of really what it's all about. Your marriage, right?
Let's talk about sex, baby. Let's talk about you and me.
Let's just keep this clean. We call it intimacy.
Oh,
keep it clean.
Let's talk about intimacy, baby.
All the good things, all the bad things. So, I digress, but remember when your kids leave the house...
That's not digressing. That's moving upward and onward, folks.
When your kids leave the house, it's going to be you and your husband again, and you want to make sure that that relationship is strong and that you didn't lose each other in the process of parenting, right?
Yep.
So date nights are really important. If you can afford it and you can do it every week, which is ultimately the goal, you want to spend time with your spouse every week, then there's no excuse. You just got to schedule it and do it. Make time for it.
Don't want to spend time with your spouse every week. See our marriage conflict video section that we did.
But if you don't have the cash, right? If your excuse isn't so much time, but it's money, like we can't really afford the babysitter.
Because you spend all the money on the babysitter and then it's like, oh, are we going to split this $1 Taco Bell something?
Honestly, we've done Taco Bell dates, so don't hate. But
I'm not hating. I'm just simply saying that, like, dates, you know, like sometimes you spend that money. It's like, hey, here's $60 for the babysitter, and we've got $5 left to. What are we going to do with that $5?
Yeah. So listen, friends, date swap. Find another couple that you love and that you trust,
Yep.
some friends that also would like to date their spouse, and just swap. So we have several friends that we date swap with, including my sister, for example. And so one night, we'll bring our kids to their house, we drop them off, and we go on our date.
Yep.
And then the next weekend, they drop their kids off at our house, and they go on their date. So we are not paying for babysitting whatsoever. We just need money in the budget for whatever we're going to do on our date night. And again, if money is an issue, go to the library, go to Barnes & Noble, get a coffee, read a book together, go on a hike on a local park. There are lots of things that you can do to spend time with your spouse, but it's really important, it really, really is important to take time away from your children to remind yourself that you're a team. And that this relationship, and I know some people are going to disagree with me, this relationship is more important than your relationship with your children. Because if your relationship with your spouse isn't strong, it will affect your ability to take care of your children. It'll also affect your children's view on life, their own emotional security, and all of that. They love to see you kiss your man. Oh, Mom, gross. But ultimately, it gives them a sense of security to know that mom and dad are good.
They need to
mom
see
and
that.
dad is good, and then the world is okay. Number two,
bedtime routine. So bedtime
love,
routine.
hate relationship with bedtime.
Listen, it's so important to have a high quality bedtime routine for your children. And it sets the precedent. It helps them get better sleep. They sleep better. They wake up better.
Here's the thing. Bedtime routines are one of the most essential things for developing peace of mind for you as a parent, because nothing is more frustrating than it being the end of the day and you want to put your kids to bed and have time to yourselves, whether it's just to catch up on that show you've been watching, whether it's just to go to bed early because you're exhausted, take a hot bath. It's kid-free time. And when they will not let you have your kid-free time,
There's trouble.
there's trouble.
Big trouble.
But the only way that you can really get them to go to bed when you tell them to go to bed is, friends, if you take the responsibility to be consistent and to discipline them when they don't listen.
Man.
Give them consequences for getting out of bed, all those things.
Yeah.
So having a routine, first of all, and so that they're used to going to bed at a certain time makes it a lot easier.
It does.
If you're letting them stay up till 9:30, 10 o'clock because you're just too tired to put them to bed, then when you try to put them to bed at a decent hour, they're not tired because they're used to staying up late. So that consistency of a bedtime makes it easier for them to feel tired. Their body says, oh, it's time for bed. They get sleepy. They go to sleep.
And the other thing is when you pull them out of bed or they don't have to go to bed and you stay up and watch movies all night, it makes it that much more
It's
special.
super special.
It really does. And so, it helps them. It helps you a lot. And I will say in our first 3 kids, dude, we were champions at this. We did so good. We did so good, and life was so much easier.
Yeah.
And these last 2, I don't know what happened in the little gap between the oldest 3 and the youngest 2, but
We're having to retrain ourselves to
be
train them.
disciplined.
Really.
Yeah.
And I'll
Oh
tell
my
you
goodness.
some of the
We
things
gotta
that
work
really
harder.
help with bedtime because they're wired. Here's the thing is we're trying to put the younger 2 to bed while the older 3 get to stay up. They're like, what? Why are they awake? You guys are still having a party and you're telling us we can't be a part of it? Like they really have a hard time having to go to bed before everybody else. But tough luck, Sugar Cup. You're a lot younger than everybody else. You need more sleep. You got to go to bed before everybody else. So what I found what helps is they're motivated to go brush their teeth, get their pull-up on, get their jammies on, if they get to read a book with me before bed, for example.
Yep.
So if I say, okay, girls, it's time to read a book. So you need to go brush your teeth, get your jammies on, and then pick out one book and bring it to me and we'll read together. So that motivation helps them to go do the tasks that need to be done. And then we read the book. And I'll tell you, reading a book to them before bedtime is just a really cool way for them to calm their energy. They hear your soothing voice. It helps them to kind of get calm and peaceful.
It does.
And then we move into bed. So let's talk about what it looks like once we get them tucked into bed. Is it just like go to bed or what do we do? What's our routine?
No, so usually we'll do a couple of songs with them. We'll do prayers for them. We talk to them. And, they want to tell you all the stories about their day. Remember that one time that we went to the water remember the one time that we had crayons, and because they mix time up. So it's usually really sweet, a lot of fun.
Or conversations about bad dreams, like they're afraid to go to bed because they'll have bad dreams, or they're afraid to go to bed by themselves because the siblings aren't coming to bed yet and they're sharing a room. Really having a chance to talk to them about their fears and is good. But praying over them has been really important. Yeah. And so we have a prayer that we've prayed again over our older kids. We were a lot more disciplined. This time our prayer is real short. What is our prayer? Lord, I pray for the girls. I pray that they would sleep well, sleep all through the night, have sweet dreams about Jesus, and wake up happy in the morning. Amen. That's the rushed prayer to get them to bed. But when we're really diligent, we have this long prayer that we pray over them. That's more along, and we'll include this. Maybe we can do that as another download or something. This prayer, but it's more along the lines of, we pray that you would protect them from bad influences, and that you would save them until marriage as well as their spouse, and that they would learn to hear God's voice and all these things. It's this prayer. But at any rate, if you seal the day with a prayer, a lot of times that really helps to calm them. It really does guard their minds as they go into sleep, and especially when they're younger, they don't have a real good grasp on how to handle when a dream starts to go dark, all those things. But anyway, anything else about bedtime? All right. Number 3, pizza and movie night.
Love pizza and movie night.
Okay, so parenting survival tip. Pizza and movie night. It's easy.
Yeah,
it's
super
fun.
Easy. They look forward to it. They love it.
Mama, you're not having to cook dinner. Get paper plates too if you need to. I mean, come on now.
Yeah, I think the hardest part of that is just finding the right movie.
Yeah, so for us, it's Friday night, pizza night, movie night. It's a mouthful, but that's what we call it. Hey, Mom, is today Friday night, pizza night, movie night? Yep. And we sometimes, so depending on our budget, right? There were times when we were getting like those 98-cent Totino's pizzas, right? And we were watching a movie that we've seen 20 times, but we owned it, so we were going to watch it again. And then there were other times when we were like, springing for delivery because we didn't even want to go out and get it, and we're having it delivered to the house. And
then we discovered Costco pizza.
We're buying the brand new movie that was just released. Yeah, our go-to now is Costco pizza.
It's so good.
I wish they
Costco.
delivered.
Oh, man, but I love Costco.
Costco pizza.
So good.
And Disney Plus.
Yeah.
We did it. I know. Don't hate for those of you that are like boycotting Disney. I honor you. I love you. Don't hate us, but yeah.
It's so good.
Anyway.
Makes it easy. Togo, man.
Easy, but here's the thing. It's a consistently planned, easy to do family night. So it's a way to pour into your kids, have quality time with very minimal effort as
Yours
parents.
might be pizza game night, where you're playing games all night. Like, it doesn't have to be movies.
Taco Tuesday or whatever, but
Yeah.
the idea is that it's easy, it's scheduled, and it's family time.
It's accountability. It's something they can look forward to. It's consistency. They know it's coming. It creates stability in them. It's really good.
Number 4.
Ooh, vacation. I love me some vacation.
Mm-hmm. With and without children. Why are vacations important for parenting survival?
Rejuvenation, make extra kids.
Yeah. So obviously, kind of going back to that date night, it's really important to make sure that you have time with your spouse just to connect and to make sure you're still on the same page, that you're a united front, that you as a unit are parenting your children. It's not mama's parenting and dad's just kind of being told what to do and he's just another one of the kids, or the other way around. It's that we're in this together.
Yeah.
And so having that time to just kind of go back to the roots of just why you love each other and dating and experience and forgetting for a minute or a weekend or a day or an overnight that you have kids is wonderful. So remember the date swap we talked about? We do weekend swaps with our friends as well. I keep their kids overnight. They keep my kids overnight. And sometimes we just stay home and we get to have a house without kids.
No kids running into the room.
Sometimes we go places. So that's easy,
awesome.
low level, inexpensive that you can do. And then the other thing is vacations with your kids, making memories and going places with your kids. And for me particularly, and maybe Mama, some of you can relate with me, when I'm home, there's that in the back of my mind, there's that to-do list. There's just stuff that needs to be done. And it's hard for me just to completely relax and be in the moment. And so taking the time to separate yourself from your home and to go somewhere with your kids where you can just be a fun mom and not worry about laundry or all these other things that need to be done. It's just a whole nother level of bonding and making memories with your family.
And stop along the way. I like road trips. Road trips can be fun with your kids.
That's because he has a fear of flying.
No, I like road trips because we would never done the Alabama thing where we did the whole space.
I love road
center
trips too, by the way, but that's just because I
we
grew
did all
up
that
where we
stuff.
couldn't afford to fly everybody. And these days it's crazy flying people.
Flying 5 kids is expensive.
Crazy. But road trips are fun. And again, these vacations can be inexpensive. It doesn't have to be a trip to Disney, right? It could be driving to the coast, driving to the mountains. Like in 2 weeks, we rented a cabin and we're going to go camping in a cabin because I don't want to sleep in a tent. We're going to glam.
Yeah, are going to sleep in a tent.
The boys are going to sleep outside and
Like
the
what are you
girls
supposed to
actually
do
have
when you go
mattresses.
camping?
We're going glamping.
Hot
It doesn't
dogs.
have to be expensive, but it's about intentionality. Okay, number 5, last but not least.
What does that say? Daddy time?
And no, it says mommy time.
Oh, mommy time.
Essential for kids and husband survival. Now, I will say that if you're the stay-at-home dad, if you're the stay-at-home parent, then this would be daddy time.
Yes.
But this is for the parent that's home with their kids all the time. Whether you are a stay-at-home mom and your kids go to public school, but you're maintaining the house, or you're a mom with little ones, your kids don't go to school yet. Whatever the case may be, if you are with your children the majority of the time, every day, you need to take time for yourself to recover, because you don't get to come home from work and be away from work. Your work is your kids, it is your family, and it's a job that you love, but it's exhausting and you need that time. And so I would encourage you mamas, in order to survive this thing called parenting, to be intentional about finding the things that rejuvenate you. And I had to really write this down. I made a list, things that help me relax and recover when I'm really stressed, whether it be taking a hot bath, reading a book, like getting away, locking myself in my room and reading a book. I actually started running last year as a way for mommy time, to get out of the house, clear my head, run around the block so I could leave the kids at home and still be close at hand, or just taking a walk, whatever it is. Figure out what refills you when you're empty and make time for that, because honestly, self-sacrificing yourself and depleting yourself isn't doing anybody any favors. So if you feel yourself getting to that point when you're like, I'm not cut out for this, I can't do this, I'm losing it, I'm screaming at my kids, I'm losing patience, I'm disciplining in anger, all of these things. Is it just me? Anybody else? You realize that should be a trigger to you that I'm overextended and I need some mommy time. And I've told my kids many times, guys, mama needs a timeout. Mama doesn't have a good attitude right now. Mama's feeling angry and mama needs a timeout. So I need you to go to your rooms and have some room time, and I'm going to go to my room and I'm going to have a timeout. And just do what you got to do, ladies or dads, to recover so that you can be the best parent that you could possibly be.
That's so good. I'm glad. That's good.
And husbands, let me speak to you. It's really important for you to help your wives find that time.
Yep.
So important. Now, of course, when they're at work, it's a different story, but when you come home from work, say, hey, how's it going? And if they're like, oh, it's been a lot of times, husband, you can be like, well, I worked all day, I'm tired too. But just say, you know what? Do you want me to pick up something for dinner? It seems like you might need a little, go take a bath and I'll order something for dinner.
Go take a bath. That's so, what? Oh, you're saying the husband should say that to the wife?
Yes.
Oh, I thought you were saying the wife should tell the husband to go take a bath. Like, what is that about? That's great.
Support your wives, guys, is all I'm saying. If you can see that they need some mommy time, make room for that. Okay, so that's it. 5 parenting survival tips.
Yep.
Date nights, bedtime routines, pizza movie night, I'm telling you.
Vacation,
Mommy time.
It's good.
All right, guys. I really hope this was helpful to you. We love you. We are for you. Let us know if there's anything that you need. Email us at info@christianandtiffany.com if you have anything you want to chat about or have any questions or suggestions.
Yeah.
Subscribe, turn on notifications, and we'll catch you in the next video.
Bye.
Bye.